have a Wi-Fi battle against Trogdor1Majesty, aka Trogdor, from the TPT, and this is for our Monotype battle in the first round. So, yeah. So, I lead out with Swampert, and he leads out with his Jirachi, and he tricks the Scarf, I'm assuming because I can't read Japanese, and I just set up some rocks. Soon. Yeah, I set up some rocks. And I forget that I'm banded, so I'm like sitting here for a while, and I'm like, wait a second, what? And so I like keep clicking it, and then I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should switch out. So I decided to switch into camera up, thinking, oh, it would probably take anything that it comes at it. So I do that, and he sets up his own rocks, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll EQ or something. But he gets his U-turn off, and I'm like, yeah. And he switches into his Bronzong. No, his Heatran. Yeah, Heatran. St. Helens, that's where I'm from, kind of. So I go for the EQ, and I'm like raging like all over the place, and it kills. Because I'm like, that wasn't really a prediction, but it still worked out alright. So, yeah, and then he switches into Bronzong, and I'm like, oh my god, I knew he would bring that thing. And so I'm like thinking, maybe it has Levitate. So I just have to switch out because I'm banded. But I decided to take a while to go into Rhyperior because I'm like, what could take this down? So I go into Rhyperior, and I take the Hypnosis like a beast, and yeah, Hypnosis. And then he gets his lefties, and it was actually a good thing because Rhyperior, it wasn't all that good, even though it was banded and all of its moves are great. But I switch into Camerupt, and coincidentally he switches into his Magnezone, and I predict the Magnet Rise, so I'm like, even though I'm banded, I'm going to go for the Fire Blast. And once again, I'm like raging like all around because I don't know, but it decides to hit in a second. I'm like way ahead of the video. Like way ahead. But yeah. And then I go for Fire Blast, and I'm like, oh my god. And yeah, but he lives somehow. And I'm like, how are you? No, how is that possible? So he gets his lefties, and I'm like, okay, you have to hit. Like, I don't know, like he has like HP water or something. Like he wasn't talking on the chat, so I couldn't really ask him. Not to mention, like, I'm like, oh, well, that wouldn't really be fair if I asked him if I didn't kill him somehow. But I kill him, and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy. So then he sends in his Jirachi, and he Iron Heads. Yeah, Iron Heads. And then I'm done, and I'm like, oh, well, that's to be expected, but I just use it as death fodder. And then I go into Rhyperior after I take a while. God dang. Yeah. So I switch into Rhyperior after a while, and I'm still asleep, and I'm like, wake up, hey, listen, wake up. No. And so he Iron Heads, and I'm like, crap. And I wasn't expecting it to do that much, and I'm like, wake up right now. And he's still sleeping. So then he goes for the Iron Head for the kill, and down goes Rhyperior, which was pretty sad because I definitely could have used it, but oh well. So then I bring in Nina for the win because Nina is pro, and then stupid Jirachi goes for the effing Iron Head, and I'm like, ugh, hacks, and I'm like, oh wait, it only happened once. Like, it actually only happened once, and he's like, that's what Jirachis are for. And I'm like, yeah, but no. And so he does it again, and I'm like, do something. And I go for the Earth Power because I forgot that I have Earth Power now instead of Earthquake, which is really dumb. and I don't know why I did that. I think I was like experimenting for some stupid reason. So we both get our lefties, and I'm like, oh, sorry, Nina, but you have to die, even though you're my favorite. I'm sorry. So I go, and that's my phone vibrating, if you can hear it. So yeah, down goes Nina, and I bring in, after a while, like really long time, I bring in Flygon, and Flygon's like, I'ma shoot you with my lasers. Not really. So I decided to EQ, and I'm life orbed, so it actually does like a crap ton, and yeah, down goes Jirachi. And I'm like, Flygon, you actually did something, because I have Soul Silver, and this isn't actually my Flygon, because I got the copy used, and it came with like all these beastly Pokemon, and Flygon was one of them, because my level 100 Flygon is really, really bad. So he brings in Bronzong again, and I'm like, ugh, I don't have anything better, so I just decided to outrage, because I somehow wasn't packing Fire Blast on this thing. Like, I have, like, this thing is really stupid. It has, like, Ominous Wind, which I guess is good for some sets, but this, like, not at all. So, I do that, and stuff, and then he does something. Oh, no, he doesn't. Or something. But anyways, he gets his lefties, and then I'm like, outrage! And I'm like, it won't really do much. And then he's like, WTF boom. Because cussing's for noobs. It's for knobs. Not really, but little kids might be watching this, and that would be not pro. So we both die, and I decide to bring in Swampert, and he brings in Scizor, named Lobster, and it actually looks like a lobster with wings. So Swampert, yeah. And then I EQ, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so awesome! And I'm like this whole battle, like, I'm like, I can't do all these calculations at once, and I'm like freaking out. And then he goes for the superpower, and I'm like, that can't do that much. Oh no. And then he loses defense or offense or whatever. I forgot, because I'm that noobish. So I take a while, and then I'm like, Earth Power, because I'm predicting the Bullet Punch, and I'm like, oh my god, he didn't use Bullet Punch. Yes, somehow. So down goes his Lobster, and then he brings in his Metagross, and I'm just like, EQ, do it, Earthquake, now. And after a while, he decides to do it. Yeah, I'm way ahead of this video. And that does a pretty big chunk, and he Meteor Mashes for the kill, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm raging all over the place. And I know I'm going to win because my last Pokemon happens to be Gliscor. And I'm like, oh my god, Gliscor, you're so fast. Quick, do it. And he EQs and takes down the Metagross. Yeah. And that's good game, Trogdor, and I will see you guys maybe next time when I decide to go up against my next opponent. So, bye.